Hello guys, I am back from another video and I'm really sorry that I didn't really make a video yesterday. At the time I was busy with making a new assignment, which by the way, hell again. Why? I just want this semester to fucking end. I'll do fucking anything. Anyway, continuing on with the episode. Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we're talking about what if I meant Deku, was in high school DxD. So in the last video we talked about how, actually, you're just going to have to watch the last episode, so, because it's not really, not really going to be detailed, but either way, it's basically simple. Apparently, Katase and Murayama told him that he, wanted to date him, but after saying that, Izuku would say, oh yeah, we can do that, I mean, we're sort of friends, which caused them to basically be sort of heartbroken, but either way, after leaving, some other stuff happened, like, for example, his parents basically, coming back to, Kuo, which, by the way, concerned Izuku in many ways, because, three fallen angels basically living with him, and let's just say they're gonna be thinking, oh yeah, our son's gonna be a fucking man whore. But either way, after that we go to, after that little incident where Izuku is basically leaving to go back to school, where he would meet Valley, where she would ask him, where is the Red Dragon Empress, aka Issei, and would start flirting with him, which caused, a few people to be, to basically become a little bit mad, including some of the girl population there, and oh boy, let's just say they were pissed off. Oh boy. And after that, Issei would be there and would start fighting with her. And after a bit of fighting, they would challenge each other to a battle. And after doing so, the battle would be started, in a few days time. And Izuku decides to train her to basically get ready for the battle. And after that, we basically see Izuku basically leaving, going back to class. But to a different perspective, we would see, Sona talking to a person that seems to be a silhouette of a girl. And apparently both of them were talking. And after a bit of talking, they would start leaving, saying that they're going to be attending school later. And so, we basically, sort of ended off the episode where the brand new, student is finally arriving, where she's currently, going into Izuku's class. Apparently, they're transferred to, Izuku's class for some odd reason, but either way, that's where we're going to be ending off the episode. So let us talk about what happens next, ladies and gents. So, as the person walked in, it would seem to be a girl. A girl with blondish hair, in pigtails, more specifically, drill-like pigtails. And not only that, she would also have with bluish eyes, as she would introduce herself as Ravel Phoenix. Let's just say Izuku's currently having an aneurysm right now, going like, why, he would say, as he would slam his face on the desk after seeing her, which caused most of the girls to say, what the hell just happened? As all of them would just look at Izuku, including, Kaneko over there, including, wait for a second, Irina and Zenobia, which, caused them to be a little bit alarmed after seeing this. And she would say this, oh, hi Izuku, she would say, as after saying that, everybody would slowly look at Izuku, including, Irina and Zenobia, as Irina would say this. Do you know her? She would say, as he would say this. Well, the rating game, he would say, as she would say this. Oh yeah, I heard it from, Rias, and apparently from, the other members of the student council, she would say. As after saying that, he would say this. She's, as after saying that, she would jump up, she would basically walk over to Izuku, as she would say this. Nice to see you again, she would say, as she would grab onto Izuku's hands, as she would start looking him in the eye, as she would say this. I just hope that we can become, great classmates, and maybe even, greater friends. Even deeper than that, she would say, as she would start smiling a little bit while closing her eyes. Which caused most of the girls there, including Katase and Murayama, to basically get ready their candlesticks. Oh no. While the other two girls are currently bringing up bloodlust, which, um, you know, which Ravo absolutely ignored, but Izuku feels it, and he's definitely concerned. As after doing so, she would start going in front of him, not really going in front of him, but more like, sitting, where, basically the seat in front of him, basically. And after doing so, the class would start. So, after class, Izuku would start leaving with, the rest of his classmates. And so, after that, he would start arriving at his next class, which is gym class, where Izuku is basically getting ready for, what's that called? It's basically that physical checkup thing. I think I remember doing that back in my high school days. More specifically, back when it was in, grade 7, which, by the way, oh boy, let's just say I was insulted because of my chunkiness. But I basically ignored all of it because, well, I sort of like, not really sort of, actually, just imagine this certain meme from a certain hunter. Well, like this. I really want to have a snack. Oh yeah, let me have one more. And I got chunky. That's basically me. But either way, we go back to Izuku in the gym as Izuku is preparing to get his, his physical exam. As after doing so, he would, arrive at the person that's basically going to be checking him up. As after noticing this person, well, he would be surprised because it's not, the normal nurse. As this person was Aisha. Oh god, he would start thinking in his mind. As after saying that, she would say this. Oh, hey, Izuku, she would say. As he would say this. Oh, hello there, Aisha, he would say. As he would have as he was basically sweating bullets. As she would say this. Well, I'm here to, fix you up, she would say. I just want you to, she would say, as she would start, blushing as she would say this. Can we just, change it to something else? I mean, maybe you can change, no, let me just change to the boy side, or, as he would start, stuttering a little bit, as she would say this. Don't worry, I will be fine, she would say. And besides, I'm just doing it just for you. After all, we are sort of devils, she would say. As he would say this. But still, I mean, we're both, different genders, and it's definitely not right, he would say. As she would say this. Just calm down, Izuku, she would say. And besides, I'm pretty much qualified for this, she would say. As he would say this. Yeah, right, he would say. As after saying that, she would start doing the little checkup. As she would start, going for his back, as she would start touching it, as she would say to herself, he's that muscular, she would say, as she would start touching all over him, which caused him to basically, let's just say feel a little bit uncomfortable. Wait for a second, my notes. Which caused him to basically, flinch a little bit because of the feeling. As she would say this, whoa, as she would start, checking his arms next, and next is, his bare chest. As she would say this, hey, Izuku, can you please take off your shirt for now, she would say. As he would say this, as he would start blushing a little bit, as he would say this, sure, he would say. As after saying that with a little bit of a blush in his face, he would start slowly taking off his shirt. As after doing so, he would slowly, show off his nice ripped, abs right over there. As after doing so, she would start, blushing even more as she'd say this. I should probably check on your heartbeat, she would say. As she would start bringing up the stethoscope and would start, listening to his heartbeat. As after hearing so, she would say, wait, why do I hear you? As she would start hearing, his heartbeat, which seems to be quite fast. As it's pretty much obvious, as we see Izuku having a literal heart attack right now, saying to himself, why, he would say to himself. As after saying that to himself, she would say this, oh, then, okay, you're fine, she would say. As after saying that, she would start, leaving, as he would say this. That was stressful, he would say to himself. As after saying that, he would, he was about to leave, but before that, he would hear, ah! As after hearing that, he would, hear the scream and would just look over, or not really look over, and would, look over to the other side. not really like looking like towards the other side, but more like looking at the divider. But after seeing so, he would hear well, something interesting to say the least. He would hear the sound of like gravel becoming a little bit angry, and he would hear the sound of a smacking motion. Yep, definitely something weird happened, he would say to himself, as after doing so, he would sigh and would start to leave. And so, after gym class, he would start leaving to go home. As after leaving, he would say to himself, that was a weird day, he would say to himself. As he would say, oh yeah, I should probably, um, you know, start training Issei later, he would say. As after saying that, he would start, leaving to go back home, but when he arrived, he would notice a very familiar car. As his heart sank. As the car seems to be a Mercedes Benz. Not sponsored, but either way, it looks like a Mercedes Benz. But, a little bit modified, to say the least. It seems to be, a Mercedes Benz, a type of car, but except instead of having, um, well, a normal-ish, body size, I guess you could say, it's more like, a little bit elongated. Seems about the size of, like, a small limousine, which kind of concerned him a little bit. As after seeing the car, he would slowly open the gate, as he would hear, so it's finally nice to meet you. As after hearing that, he would say, oh no, he would say. As after saying that, he would start, going inside of in the living room and would see, well, Raider, Cowinner, and Millet talking to, well, Izuku's parents. As one of them would say this, Izuku, you're finally here, said said his mother, as he would say this, hi, Mum, he would say with with a concerned, face, as she would say this. Well, it's nice to see you here. I've been talking to your lovely little maids over here, she would say. As, his dad would say this. Ha 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 ha. Ha. So, it seems that my son had a little too much fun while we were alone. And I can't believe that you actually got maids. I mean, I remembered you having a bit of a, much better time here by yourself. I mean, you basically even cook by yourself. And not only that, even do the bills. Or at least sort of, he would say. But still, he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Well, I sort of needed some, help. And so I found some people that were currently, struggling. So I decided for them to basically work as my maids while staying here, he would say. As Philip would say this, yeah, that is why we, sort of accepted it, she would say. As he would say this, I see then. As he would start looking towards his son, aka Izuku, as he would say this. Now, I wanted to ask you to, all three girls, he would say. As after saying that, all the girls would just look at him, as he would say this. Well, I'm currently, looking, for somebody to basically be with my son. As after saying that, all of the girls would start blushing, including, Izuku, as Izuku would say this. Dad, he would say, as he would say this. What? I mean, my son needs to get a girlfriend, so, nowadays. I mean, seriously. As after saying that, he would start looking towards the girls, as he would say this. Now, tell me, are any of you interested with my son? He would say, as all the girls are, all of the girls, including, Millet, Cowinner, and also, well, Raider are currently blushing, as, Millet would say this. No, I consider him as more like a brother figure than anything else. As Cowinner would say this. Yeah, than anything else, I, kind of call him a brother than anything else, she would say. But for Cowinner was the most, red. As she would say this. What do you mean by that, Mr. Midoriya? She would say, as he would say this. I see, he would say, as his mother would say this. AKA, Izuku's mother. Can you please stop that, Masashi? As after saying that, he would say this. Oh, come on, Inko. Besides, it's kind of funny seeing them having a bit of a cute little blush on their face. And it seems like one of them seems to be in love with him, he would say. As Izuku would say this. Dad, can you just stop, he would say. As he would say this. Oh, right. I think it's better for us to basically get ready now. As after saying that, he would slowly, start, moving to his, well, to their, combined bedroom, aka his parents' bedroom, as you would say this. Whoop, I'm gonna be taking a rest now. I guess you maids better start making dinner, you would say, as, one of them would say this, specifically, her mother, aka Inko. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be helping you girls. I mean, why not, she would say, as after saying that, she would start leaving to change her clothes as well. As after leaving, Izuku would say this. So, what time did they, as one of them would say this? About, a few hours ago, as Izuku would say this. Please don't tell me that you tell, as one of them would say this. Don't worry, Izuku, they didn't know anything about us. Or at least sort of, she would say, as you say this. Oh god, he would start slamming his head onto the, onto the table, as, one of them would say this. Izuku, are you, as he would say this, do I look like I'm okay? He would say to himself, say to him, I might say to her, as she would say this. Yeah, probably not, she would say, as she would say this. Exactly. He would start, pinching his forehead, as he would say this. I feel fucking idiotic, he would say, as London would say this. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, she would say, as he would say this. I'm just going to ignore that, he would say, as London would say this. So, about your, what is that called? Your little, fighting session with, wait for a second. Your little training session with, that Issei girl, said, Millet, as he would say this. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be doing that later, he would say. Or at least, tomorrow, he would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Ah, I see then. As after saying that, she would start looking at Izuku once again, as she would say this. By the way, as Izuku would say this. Yeah, he would say. As she would say this. Specifically, instead of Millet, it was, actually, yeah, Millet would start pointing towards, Cow Winner, as she would say this. Hey, Izuku, she would say, as he would say this. Yeah, he would say, as she would say this. Well, I wanted to ask, can you help me with, preparing dinner with your mother? I mean, it would help me, a lot, so, as Izuku would say this. Sure, just let me change my clothes. As after saying so, he would start leaving to, to his room to change his clothes. After doing so, he would basically start helping Calendar and his mother with cooking. As they would start, cooking some pork tontatu and some simple, quick, cooking ramen, or, some instant ramen. As after doing so, they would start, going into the, dining room, and so they would start eating. As all of them would start eating, as Izuku would say this. It's been a while since we actually gone to an actual family dinner, he would say, as his father would say this. Yeah, after all, wait for a second. After all, after, a few years of basically, leaving you alone, let's just say it's been, tiring for me, including your mother, as one of them would say this, specifically his mother. Yeah, ever since you basically told us that you're, that you wanted to stay alone, and not only that you're okay basically, letting you, be all alone, and not only that, letting us, work abroad, well, I was sort of worried that you might, end up, she would say, as you would say this. Yeah, I can, imagine that. But still, I'm pretty much alive and definitely not dead, he would say, as one of them would say this. Yes. As after saying that, his father would start looking at all three of the girls, as he would say this. Oh, and by the way, make sure to try and take care of my son a little bit. I don't want him to become, well, let's just say one of those playboys, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically, Calviner. I'm sure that I'm able to do that, and I promise to take care of him as well, she would say, as one of them would say this, specifically, his mother, Ara. It seems that wait for a second. It seems that you care for my, my lovely, my lovely little son over here a lot. You might even become a great wife someday, she would say, As after saying that, Cowan would start to blush. As, not Cowan, I meant, Rainer and also Miller would start, laughing a little bit. As, Cowan would say this, I meant. As she would say, you don't really need to flatter me like that, Miss, Midoriya, she would say this. Don't call me, that name anymore. Besides, you're technically a part of the family, so I guess you can say that you can call me mom from now on, she would say. As she would say this. Um, I see, she would say. As after saying that, she would start blushing a little bit more. As he would say this. Specifically, Izuku's dad, as he would say this. Now, anyway, you should probably get some sleep now. You already finished dinner anyway, he would say. As after saying that, he would, put down his plate, including, his mom. As after doing so, they would start leaving to basically go to bed. As Izuku would say this. I'll help you with the dishes, Kawaner, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, sure, she would say. As after saying that, they would start leaving to basically clean up the dishes. As one of them would say this. Specifically, what's his surname? Specifically Rainer, as she would say this. Try not to kiss. As after saying that, it would cause Kawaner to become a little bit, well, a little bit blushing, as she would say this. Stop that, she would say. As she would say this. Come on, it makes you look like a couple. Actually, it makes you look like an old married couple than anything else, she would say. As it would cause, Kawaner to basically create a light spear and would throw it towards, the legs of, like towards, the feet of, Rainer, causing her to basically jump away, as she would say this. You take that back, she would say, as Izuku would say this. Can both of you stop and... Can both of you try and fix that, he would say, as Linda would say this. Oh, sorry about that, Izuku, she would say, specifically, Kawaner, as, Rainer would say this. Yeah, sorry about that, she would say, as he was, as Izuku would say this. Now, I'm gonna be cleaning up with, with Kawaner over there, okay? Just fix it up. As one of them would say this. Sure, said, a pretty much, nonchalant, Millet, as after doing so, she would start fixing up the hole. So, after cleaning up the dishes, he would start saying goodnight to everybody, and so he would slowly fall asleep. So, the next day has come as Izuku is preparing to, to prepare for training, more specifically, training with, Issei, as he would say goodbye to his parents, including, Kawaner and the, other two, fallen angels. As after arriving at the park, he would see, a, somewhat tired Issei, as she would say this. Oh, hey, Zuku, she would say, as Zuku would say this. So, so you're finally arrived, he would say, as she would say this. Yep, pretty much. And now, let's get to training, she would say. I'm pretty excited finally training with you. As after saying that, he would say this. Yeah, me too, I guess, he would say, as she would say this. Now, so what is this training all about, she would say, as she would say this. Well, we're gonna be training on your sacred gear over there. As she would say this. Wait, really? She would say. As she would say this. Yeah, I want to at least help you out. As after saying that, she would say this. Really? Then, can you please tell me a little bit more about, helping me with my sacred gear? I meant, as after saying that, he would say this. Well, it's pretty simple. Just summon out your sacred gear, he would say. As after doing so, she would start, summoning out her sacred gear, aka the boosty gear. As, the boosty gear would say this. So, you must be the, the guy that's, that's causing a bit of trouble for my host over here, he would say. As he would say this. What do you mean, he would say. As she would say that. But he would say this. Well, you see, my host over here is starting, has been crushing, but before he can say anything else, she would say, stop that, she would say, as he would say this. Well, I am telling the truth, and besides, you're a bit of a, well, as after, looking, or at least, sort of like looking at, Issei, he would say, well, I prefer the jackass, to say the least, he would say, as she would say this. Hey, I'm your host, for God's sake, she would say, as he would say this. But still, he would say. As after saying that, she would say, "Oh, ow, ow." She would say, as after saying that, because, she sort of said God, as Izuku could say this. Maybe try not to say anything like that anymore, he would say, as she would say this. Yeah, sort of forgot. I'm a devil, she would say, as she would say this. But either way, you're gonna be training with me. As after saying that, she would say this. Oh, sure, she would say. As after saying that, Izuku would say this. Now, follow me, he would say. As after saying so, she would start following Izuku. As she would say this. So, Izuku, what are we going to be doing? As Izuku would say this. Well, it's pretty simple, he would say. As after saying that, he would start grabbing something out of nowhere. As this something seems to be his sacred gear, Dracul. As after saying that, he would start, not really saying that, but more like, doing so, he would start spinning the spear as he would say this. Now, I want you to try and fight me. As she would say this, but why? I mean, I can't do that. I mean, I might hurt you, she would say. As he would say this. No, I want you to at least fight me. And try this, he would say. As he would start, doing a stance that's similar to, Kukulane from, or, as some people say, Choo Choo Lane, which, why? It's Kukulane, not Choo Choo Lane. What is he, a fucking, tank engine? But either way, he would start taking a stance similar to Kukulane from, Fate Grand Order, or Fate, in the Fate series, as he would say this. Now, I want you to come at me with the intent to kill. I don't want you holding back. After all, you're going to be fighting your rival, or at least your supposed rival, he would say, as she would say this. But I might, as he would say this. Like I said, I want you to try and kill me, or at least try not to kill me. You basically get it, he would say, as she would say this. Fine, she would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Drake, boost, she would say. As, her sacred gear would start saying boost, 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 boost. As Izuku would say this. Let's try this out then. As he would say this. Now. Boost, he would say. As they would also hear the sound of boost, but instead of being in Drake's voice, instead, it's, Dracul, or Dracula, aka, his, sacred gear spirit, as he would say, boost, 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 boost. As after saying that, both of them would be surprised. As Drake would say this. What the? How did you? As he would say this. Let's just say that I sort of gotten some help. And let's just say my gear is sort of like a mix between yours and also, Valley's over there. As after saying that, as you'd start pointing a spear at her, as you would say this. But not really as strong, but certainly can increase my power tenfold, he would say. Maybe even above that, he would think to himself. As he would slowly charge towards her. As, after picking the pace, he would start charging at her with the speed. Fully increased, to say the least. As he would start, trying to, slash her across the face, as she would say, God dang it, she would say, as she would get ready, as she gets ready her, her other, her gauntlet, more specifically, the boosted gear, as she would say this, take this, she would say, dragon shot, she would say, as after saying that, she would fire a ball of energy, as Izuku would slice it, as he would say this, better try better than that, he would say, as he would say this, now, divide, he would say, as he would say, or at least, Dracul would say, divide, divide, divide. As after saying that, she would slowly start feeling her power, decrease, as she would say, God, as she would start clutching her head, as she would say, God dang it, she would say, as Drake would say this, I can't believe it. He has the power, he has similar powers to my secret gear, and my rivals, he would say, as he would say this, specifically Izuku. Well, yeah, let's just say I'm full of surprises. But either way, he would say, as he would start gripping onto his sacred gear, aka, Dracul, even more, as he would start grabbing onto something else. As this something was his, his Queen K. As after doing so, he would grab it in his mouth, as he would say this. Now, let's truly have some fun, he would say. as he would start bringing out his ukaku, as he would start flying up in the air with the help of mixing in some of his fallen angel DNA, and would start firing off blasts of energy from his ukaku, and also from his Jakku spear. I mean Jakku spear, which starts creating slashes in the air, and after doing so, it would start charging towards Issei. Wait for a second. As these slashes would start charging towards Issei, as Issei would try to dodge, as she would say, "Those are fat." But before she can, the missile Ukaku's blasts were basically charging towards her once again, as they would explode right in front of her, causing her to basically jump away. As she would say this, "Ugh, ow, that hurts," she would say, as Drake would say this. "Now, boost," he would say, as after saying that, she would start feeling her strength come back again, as she would say this. "Well then, guess I'll just have to try this," she would say, as she would start getting ready her secret gear once again, as she would say, "Now, I'll make sure." As she would start charging towards him once again, as she would say, "Take this," she would say, as her fist would start being clenched, as she would say this. "Now, take this," as she would start, getting ready to punch him, as Izuku would say this. Let's see how let's see how she's able to do this. As he would say this. "Now, divine shield," he would say, as after saying that, his fallen angel wings would start, covering him similar to a shield. As after doing so, she would punch it, as she would say, "What?" She would say, as he would say this. "Make sure try not to underestimate your enemies," he would say. As after saying that, she would say, "But how?" she would say, as he would say this. "Well, let's just say I kind of learned that technique from, well, some friends," he would say. As after saying that, she would say, "God dang it, I failed," she would say. As he would say this. "Hey, don't say that," he would say. As she would say this. "What?" she would say. As he would say this. "Come on. Failures serve a way of basically learning your mistakes. And let's just say those mistakes can sometimes, lead to, let's just say, some horrible accidents, but to say, well, let's just say it's sometimes, at least, sometimes at least manageable," he would say. As after saying that, he would start looking towards, Izuku. Not Izuku, I meant, towards Issei, as he would say this. "Well then," as he would start, looking towards her once again, as he would say this. "Now, I want you to try and train a little bit more." As after saying that, he would start readying his spear once again, as he would say this. "Now, I want you to charge with me with the intent to kill once again. And this time, try not to hesitate," he would say, as she would say this. "Right," she would say. As after saying that, the fight would continue on for, a few weeks. The training has been doing pretty well, as we currently see, the rest of, the org, including the student council, basically seeing, the fight going on, as Izuku would say this. "You certainly are improving, as we would currently see Issei. Issei would, sort of have a new look. She was currently wearing, some simple, a simple, how do I say this? Yeah, she's basically wearing some track pants, but she's also wearing a sports bra instead of her, what she wore earlier, or at least in the first part, which I forgotten to say, which was just a simple, tracksuit, jacket. As she is now, as she now is basically holding up her hair similar to, a ponytail. As she would say this. "Yeah, I certainly getting improvements," she would say. As, we would notice that her sacred gear, aka, the boosted gear, seems to be a little bit upgraded, with a few more sharp spikes and two, green gems on it now. As he would say this. "Now, let's try this out," he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. "Now, I want you to try me. Try me with a little bit more, skill, to say the least," he would say. As she would say this. "Right," she would say. As she would get ready her spear once again, as she would say this. "Now, I'll show you why I'm considered as the Red Dragon Empress, and make sure that you know it well," she would say. As after saying that, she would get ready her dragon shot. As he would say this, now. As he would get ready to, charge at her once again, as she would say this, now. Dragon shot! I'm a red dragon shot! Welsh blast! She would say. As after saying that, a huge blast would start, coming towards Izuku. As when Izuku noticed it, he would say, this is gonna be easy, he would say, as he would get ready to basically gets ready to slash it, but before he can, the blast would start transforming into a dragon. As he would say, what the? As after saying that, the dragon would charge towards Izuku and would blast into him, as would cause everybody to say, Izuku, all of them would say, as Issei would say this. Izuku, she would say, as she would start coming towards, Izuku after that blast. The blast would basically cause a bit of debris to basically happen. And the blast was about the same size as just imagine the size of a normal crater on Mars. Or, a normal crater on the moon. Yeah, that's that big. As after doing so, she would say, Izuku, are you okay? She would say, as Izuku would say this. Fine, he would say. As after saying that, all of them would just look over and would see Izuku basically have a big ass bloody hole in his chest, as would slowly start to heal. As he would say this. Besides, super regeneration, he would say, as she would say this. Oh, right, she would say, as Izuku would say this. You certainly are improved, he would say. But make sure try not to get your, guard down by Valley. After all, she is so-called she's so-called your rival, he would say, as she would say this. Right, she would say, as one of them would say this. Specifically, Issei, not Issei, I meant, Rias, as she would say this. Yeah, you certainly made him strong, Izuku, she would say, as she would say this to herself. God dang it, why couldn't I, make him join my period, she would say. But she would shake it off, as she would say this. Anyway, just be ready for the battle between you and her, she would say, as Izuku would say this. Hey, don't worry. Besides, as he would start looking towards her, as he would start saying this. I think Issei is already ready for this. I mean, I did train her, he would say. As, one of them what's her fucking name again? As Sona would say this. You really are worthy of being my husband, she would say. As he would say this. Yeah, he would start, he would start having, a bit of, thoughts in his head saying, why did I even, force myself to be with her? I mean, she's sort of, nice, but still, he would say to himself. As after saying that, Izuku would say this. Oh, yeah, I should probably start to leave, he would say, as one of them would say this. Why is that, Izuku said, a pretty much, wondering, or at least curious ask, a curious looking, Sona, as he would say this. Well, my parents are sort of here now, and are, kind of worried, or at least, they're probably going to be worried if I don't come back soon, he would say. As after hearing that, she would say, wait, your parents are here, she would say, and she would start to have a little bit of a face of interest, as one of them would say this. Specifically, Sabaki, as she would say this. Hey, Rias? Not Rias, I meant, what is it, Sona? Are you, as she would say this, no, I'm just, wondering why are your parents here, she would say, as he would say this. Well, apparently they sort of, stopped basically working overseas, and apparently they're gonna be going back to working here. Apparently the reason why is, unknown, or at least I think so. But either way, I'm gonna be leaving now. See ya. As after saying that, he would start leaving, as Sona would say this. His parents are here. Yeah, because I'm married to him, maybe I should introduce myself, she would say. As after thinking this to herself, as one of them would say this, specifically, Rias, as she would say, his parents are here? Maybe I should try and talk to them. Maybe even, as she would start getting a little bit of a glint in her eyes, as we go to, Zenobia, as she would say this. Wait, Izuku's parents are here? maybe I should go introduce myself, she would say. As, we go to Kiba, I should say, wait, his parents? Um, maybe I could maybe meet them? Maybe even ask him, for my, ask him for their blessing, maybe, she would say. As we currently see, some others basically thinking of this. But one of them was a bit curious, specifically Issei, as she would say, wait, Izuku's parents are here? Maybe we should go talk to them, she would say. As after saying that to herself, she would start, as everybody would start to leave. More specifically, yeah. And so, after doing so, we would basically end off the episode not technically there. Actually, we're going to be moving to a different perspective. As we currently see another, perspective. In this case, the, three different people. As these people seem to be Azazel and Sausages. As Sausages would say this. So, it seems that you're finally here. Said, Sausages, as Azazel would say this. I just hope you're not planning to basically start a war again, he would say. As the man would basically appear. A man with, well, let's just say some interesting features to say the least. As we would see a blonde, man with, aquamarine eyes, or at least I think that's the name of the color, as he would also have a halo and multiple wings, wearing, priest-like robes, and, on top of his shoulders were some really large, pauldrons, as he would see this. Well then, it's nice to meet you again, Sausages and Azazel, he would say, as Sausages would say this. Yes, it's been a while. Archangel Michael, he would say, as he would say this. Well, I'm not here for hostile relations or anything of that sort. I'm here for peace. As after saying that, we're going to be ending this episode right off here. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!